one of the most significant 911s ever.
Embrace yourself. I'm going to use the B word.
The icon is electric. Well, sort of.
I'm astonished by this car.
Welcome back to Re-Review, where we watch older reviews so you don't have to. Today we're diving deep into a car that's got everyone talking, the 2025 Porsche 911 Carrera GTS, the first ever hybrid 911. This isn't just another 911 update, it marks a major turning point for the iconic sports car.
It's not just any 911. It's arguably one of the most significant 911s ever. I mean, certainly since they switched from air cooling to water cooling in the 996. Because I'm in the new GTS, which is a hybrid.
Increasingly stringent emissions regulations have become like kryptonite to cars like the 911.
Which is why for this generation, they've done something a little bit different. Yeah, embrace yourself. I'm going to use the B word right now. Batteries. Yep, it's a hybrid. It's been electrified.
Can anyone who really loves sports cars get behind the idea of a hybrid 911? One that weighs 1,600 kilograms. I mean, can they?
This is not a hybrid that's about efficiency. This is a hybrid that is about performance. This is a T-hybrid, which is basically short for turbo hybrid. Ooh, a fast one. Brakes are so good in this car, so stable. Oh, there's that power, there's the boost. That electric, wow. Trail the brakes in. This is such a stable car. On the curb. Oh, beautiful. And just when you think the regular Carrera is really good, Carrera 2, this thing shows up. Oh, there's the electric boost coming out of the motor, helping the turbo spool up. Something else.
So a performance hybrid, not an efficiency play. But how does this T-hybrid system actually work?
The GTS uses an all-new, larger 3.6-litre flat-six, 600cc more than before. It also uses a new 8-speed transmission with a 54-horsepower electric motor living inside it. This is powered partly by a 1.9 kilowatt-hour lithium-ion battery pack mounted at the rear,
as well as an electric motor mounted on the engine's single turbocharger. The motor in the transmission is capable of delivering as much as 53 horsepower and 110 pound-feet of torque instantaneously, while the motor on the turbo serves to spin up the turbocharger, effectively eliminating turbo lag. Both of these motors serve to make the T-hybrid powertrain in the GTS immensely responsive. Both have the ability to regenerate power, either simultaneously or independently of one another. It's complex, but compact.
There's no blow-off valve in this car. Other turbocharged cars have a blow-off valve, but this car, they use the exhaust gases to help bring more power to the hybrid system, which is interesting. Another interesting thing, this is not twin turbocharged, like basically all other Porsche turbo models have been for the last 30 years. There's just a single turbo, because using the electric motor for the turbocharger means there's no turbo lag.
You can spin up the turbo at very low revs, but it can also harvest the power the turbo generates in the exhaust. Rather than having a wastegate, they make it a generator and put that power into the battery in the front of this. It's got a 1.7 kilowatt hour battery in the front of it. Crazy, super clever stuff. So no wastegate.
And that is paired with an in-transmission electric driven motor that sits on this new strengthened 8-speed PDK gearbox. Everything to work more effectively. Everything to make it a lot more stronger, more direct.
Yeah, this hybrid system, does it always have the same full power? Yes and no. It depends also on the driving mode. So when you're driving it normally like a customer on the street, probably you won't ever notice like a power difference or loss. But then it depends on driving mode.
And the whole system contributes to an overall weight increase of only 103 pounds over the old GTS.
Complex, clever, and adding minimal weight, the engineers clearly focused on integration. But does all that tech translate to real-world speed?
This performance-minded system ups GTS output to 532 horsepower and 449 pound-feet of torque, 59 horsepower and 29 pound-feet more than the last GTS.
And it results in a 0 to 60 time for this car of 2.9 seconds, under 3 seconds for just the GTS, not even the top-of-the-line turbo or GT3 RS.
Like they did on the Nürburgring Nordschleife, where it was 8.7 seconds quicker than the predecessor with this hybrid system. So yes, it works for the performance.
Here we go. 1993 to beat. What's it gonna do? We're coming round now. Feels quicker. Is it quicker? There we go. 118.53. That's quite a bit quicker, really, don't you think?
Yeah.
What proportion of that you put down to the four-wheel drive system?
3/4.
At least a second is down to the engine performance.
Yeah, I would say so.
Wow. So the new car is quicker than the old one.
Okay, it's undeniably fast, quicker than its predecessor, and seriously rapid off the line. But a 911 isn't just about numbers. How does it feel on the road?
It's so hard to argue with these things when you get in them. This, as an everyday car, is damn impressive. It's a bit blunt, it's a bit numb, but it's either that or an old 911.
But just rolling like this in normal, it feels like a naturally aspirated engine every time you just push it a little. So you can just feel how quick that new electric turbocharger is.
One of the biggest shocks in this car is just the level of transparency that there is with all of its systems, is you simply don't feel them. You don't feel this hit of electric boost. It's not something that stands out. You don't hear the electric motor.
It doesn't feel like a hybrid. It doesn't drive like a hybrid. If Porsche hadn't told us that this was a hybrid, I don't think a lot of the people who are complaining that it's a hybrid would even be aware that it's a hybrid.
But this anti-lag single turbo engine, it's not really a hybrid at all, is it? It's something else, it really is. Because there's no lag, it feels like a very large capacity normally aspirated engine. I'm talking like 6-7 litre engine where you just touch the throttle and it goes.
On the road, we love the immediate response at low speeds.
I looked at all the tech and they're very proud how they reduce turbo lag to practically nothing. It's actually reduced from around 3 seconds, they say, to 0.8 of a second. So it's still there. If I actually add throttle, there is this slight pause that is really good in turbo terms, but it's still there.
Incredibly responsive, almost like a large naturally aspired engine, and the hybrid system is virtually transparent in normal driving. There's a tiny hint of lag when you really look for it, but it's massively reduced. What about when you push it harder on track?
Brakes are so good in this car, so stable. And trail the brakes in, this is such a stable car.
Then 5 on the other side, 10 piston calipers at the front, gripping a 420mm disc, and then 4 piston calipers at the back with a 410mm disc. Also, what's really good about the GTS, regardless of whether you go for the carbon ceramics, which by the way cost £9,000, is that there's no brake blending. So you don't have any regen braking at all on the brake pedal. The advantage of not having it through the brake pedal means that the brakes feel perfectly natural, like you want from a 911.
I'm feeling a little bit more on the front axle, if I'm honest with you, a little bit. Not masses, a little bit of unsteadiness. It's loud, you know, it's got a lot of grip until it hasn't got grip, and then it slides beautifully because there's so much torque. Yeah, you touch the throttle and you get this instant boost from the turbochargers. It's lag-free stuff.
Great control, and of course here I also have the all-wheel drive performance. Yeah, that really gets you out of the corner really well, and the car feels very balanced. That's great, and look at that on the gas. Oh.
It's still an incredibly competent car, and every time I get into a 911, I'm astonished by the fact that they make it drive so incredibly well, considering how much more size and weight and luxury they continue to add with each successive generation.
The competence shines through on track, balanced, controlled, and natural feeling brakes despite the tech. The extra weight isn't overtly noticeable to most, masked by the power and chassis turning. Porsche has also updated the cabin tech.
So look, gone is the old paddle starter, and now you have a normal starter button like every other blooming car. And they've got rid of the analog rev counter. You now have this digital one.
And it's now a full 12.6 inch, fully digital screen. But what that screen has allowed Porsche to do is reconfigure the display. And there were some complaints with the previous display where you would lose visibility of the modules on the outside edge. Now they fixed it, so everything is very clear and easy to read.
Gauge screen in this car is fantastic. It is tremendously easy to use with all sorts of different functionality and information displays that you can configure depending on exactly what you want to see, which is just wonderful. This is a really great gauge screen, among the very best in the business.
And of course here, when you forgot shaving in the morning, you can also do it with the shifting lever. This for drive, forward, and reverse, and also the feedback it gives, that's pretty cool.
Also unusual in this interior is the detachable cup holder situation. You look in this center console and you can see a cup holder in here. Makes sense, no surprise, but this cup holder can be removed and you can replace it with a little storage panel that they also give you. You have to choose between the cup holder and the storage compartment.
These little vents here, those are special cooling vents for your mobile phone. So when you're wirelessly charging it and it gets a little bit hot, it'll actually blow cold air over the back of your phone so it doesn't overheat.
So a fully digital dash, which most find an improvement, that controversial start button, a tiny shaver-like shifter, clever phone cooling, and a modular cup holder. But what about the downsides?
Weirdly, I expect it somehow to be perhaps be more efficient, but the CO2 rating's got, I mean, it's 244 grams instead of 236, so it's actually gone up, the consumption. If I look at the trip as well, yeah, 17 mpg average. I don't think this is, with all its high-tech hybrid system, is going to be great on fuel, because it's not. It's actually going to be a bit worse.
The hybrid tech does not come for cheap. You see, this new GTS costs from £133,000, which is almost £11,000 more than the old car. If you want the four-wheel drive version like this, it's almost £140,000, and that's before options.
The other interesting thing is that this car is now only available with the 8-speed PDK dual-clutch automatic transmission. You can't get the hybrid with the manual, which is, in my opinion, probably the biggest drawback of the hybrid.
The weight. I was really surprised when it went 1,700 kilos on the weighbridge. This tech does add weight, obviously, with the battery technology and the motors.
Also a little odd in this particular car is there's no back seats. You look back there and you can see there's kind of the makings of where the back seats ought to be. No back seats in this car. That's unusual for a 911 GTS. Now, back seats are optional. You can choose to add them back if you wish.
The car's hybrid system emits a high-pitched whining sound under certain circumstances. Now, I actually can't hear it, but Adam, who's under 30, can hear it. Doesn't matter probably for most Porsche buyers, because you're going to be like over 40 anyway, and you won't be able to hear it, but younger people can.
Okay, so the big takeaways and the downsides. It's heavier, significantly more expensive, potentially less fuel efficient in real-world aggressive driving, PDK-only option for the hybrid, back seats are now optional, and younger ears might pick up a whine. Despite the changes and the price hike, the core question remains, is the magic still there?
For years, the GTS has been the sweet spot of the 911 range in terms of both equipment and performance. The addition of the T-Hybrid powertrain puts the GTS at the tip of Porsche's technological spear.
I know, a hybrid 911 seems like sacrilege, but Porsche doesn't mess with the 911 lightly. This car still has the magic, the excitement that makes a 911 a 911.
Well, however impressed I am with it, I just can't get in my head where I've actually gained as an owner with this car over what's gone before. I think I'll be looking in the classifieds either for a Turbo S, which, you know, you could find at the money that this is, or perhaps the previous generation GTS.
I think this is a good combo, and I like it. And what I like, of course, is more power, more immediacy, and yeah, there is just such immediacy over its whole character, this one. The GTS really sets a new standard. Wow.
Yes, this is still the best all-round sports car you can buy. I never really rated the GTS. Now though, I think this new hybrid turbocharger and the 3.6 engine set the GTS apart and make it worth the premium. I'd say get the GTS. It really is the sweet spot in the range.
So the first hybrid Porsche 911 is here, and the consensus is overwhelmingly positive, despite some valid criticism. The T-hybrid system delivers genuinely impressive performance gains, banishing turbo lag and adding a layer of responsiveness that reviewers liken to a large, naturally aspired engine, all while being remarkably seamless in operation. It handles with the expected 911 competence, masking its increased weight incredibly well for most drivers, and offer natural feeling brakes. However, the downsides are significant. It's considerably more expensive, PDK-only version for the hybrid model, potentially less fuel efficient than expected under hard use, and some traditional Porsche elements like the analog tech and starter paddle are gone. The standard deletion of the rear seats feels odd for a GTS, though they remain a no-cost option, and younger drivers might notice a system whine. Ultimately, Porsche has successfully integrated hybrid technology without sacrificing the core 911 driving experience. While some purists might lament the changes in the price, the new GTS arguably becomes the sweet spot in the lineup, offering a distinct and technologically advanced powertrain that sets it apart from the base Carrera, pushing it closer to turbo performance levels while retaining a unique character. If you can stomach the price, the Hybrid GTS appears to be an exceptional evolution of the 911 formula. That's it for our ultimate roundup review of the 2025 Porsche 911 Carrera GTS Hybrid. Please find full videos down below and subscribe for more re-reviews where we watch old reviews so you don't have to.